So, welcome everybody. Nice to be here. Thanks for your time now, because it's almost dinner time. Thank you for taking the time to go to this talk. Let's talk about green, about sustainability and front-end. And we're going to monitor your front-end application with CO2.js. A lot of observability and principles and design patterns I will show you in a minute. But first, if you look to this screen, what do you think? What is bad if you look at this design? What is bad about this? Indeed, the white. If you think about sustainability and white and the screens, because on the monitorings, on your monitoring, it can be very bad because white is not good, black is better. So if you see this recording, we need to toggle the dark mode. So black. So that's why we invented a kind of dark mode, and it's also better for our eyes. But what's next? There's something more wrong here, and that is, yes, the color indeed, yeah. Because we need to change the colors. Because originally, green is very poisonous. If people need to create green, you need a lot of chemicals to create that color. And also, darker colors are better also for your computer and for your eyes again. And I already spoiled a little bit, remove the images. Because you need to also be on context and just say what you need to say. Your front-end is killing. And we are going to deep dive into that, how to monitor your application, your front-end application. It's all beginning with the energy patterns. We need to think about certain patterns, dark UI colors. You need to think about Wi-Fi. Am I using Wi-Fi, GSM? We need to reduce size. I will show you also a demo of that. And there are all kinds of patterns you need to think about as a front-end designer or as a front-end developer even. You need to be aware what you are creating. So these kind of patterns can help you to be a sustainable developer. So the most important thing is what's in it for me. I'm going to talk something about the incoming law. There's a law, it's already there, and we need to comply with that. More about that later, the green software principles, and then we are going to dive into CO2.js, tools in action, right? I will close this one. But first, it all begins with, why are we doing this? Why? Why should I think about sustainability? And my first thought about sustainability, I saw this video and I was thinking, hey, I need to be more aware if I'm doing my work of patterns that I can improve if we look to sustainability. So this video can take maybe 2 minutes and then I will continue. I hope you be aware then also.
This is you. This is our homes, our cities, our lives and livelihoods. And this is climate change. It's here. It's happening right now. People sometimes wonder, what will happen in Europe if we do nothing, if we let global warming continue? Each year, an additional 50 million people will be exposed to high wildfire danger. Heat waves will cause 90,000 more deaths every year than now. Over 2 million more people will be flooded in coastal areas and river floodplains, while annual flood damages will rise to 300 billion euros. There will be major shifts in ecological domains throughout Europe, with alpine tundra seriously contracting and almost disappearing in the Pyrenees. Droughts and water shortages will impact southern regions even more than they do now, affecting farming, crop yield, energy production, and public water supply. What will happen if we act? If we limit global warming to well below 2 degrees, how will people, the economy, and ecosystems in Europe benefit? 2/3 of the increase in people exposed to high wildfire danger would be avoided management strategy and why Europe is committed to be climate neutral by 2050.
So that was for me like the thing that I thought of, hey, I need to do something. I need to do something about sustainability. We need to do something as developers. It's not only me, but if we act together, then we can lift mountains kind of. Hi, my name is Ko Turk. We having next year we have Fox Days Amsterdam. So that's pretty cool. April 3rd. A little bit advertising about it. Proud about it. Sustainability will be also a topic. So I'm very happy that I'm also talking here. I'm trying to make the world a little bit better every time. Steps. So why? That's the most important question. I show you the video, but there's another why. Mostly the question is, who's working for a company that have more than 250 people? Can I have a raise of hands? More than half. So you need to comply to a law, Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. So your company already need to take action on this. They need to show you what you are doing in the back end. So they need to deliver sustainability reports. It's the same like a financial report. And it's to be more transparent what we are doing. And IT is also one of them. If you compare it also to the aviation industry, this is also something we almost the same pollution we get from CO2 with aviation and the IT industry from the whole chain. So that's almost the same, but nobody talks about like, hey, how can we improve in IT? But this is also the time that it's going to happen, also in the future. If you want it or not, that's mostly the question. There's a philosophy behind it. There are green coding principles. One is you need to be aware of what your CO2 emission is. You need to think about your energy. Number two, what kind of energy? It needs to be sun or wind, or that kind of things. Your hardware you need to think about. 5, are you running in the cloud or not? That's mostly better, not always. 6, about less connections. Less connections to other systems is mostly better. 7, on certain times we can run our batch jobs and that kind of things. And 8 is monitoring. And the last one, I want to talk about it, how we can monitor our front-end application. Mostly we are thinking about an end user. Like, hey, the end user have the less impact, and then you have the data center and a network, and my code, I can make a big impact there. But actually, it's the other way around. We need to learn people how to be certain habits that they can improve. And data centers then, and network architecture decisions, that kind of things, and then it's your code. But you have also the other way around, because if you do it square 1 million users or more, then you can stretch out the pyramid, and then you can make an impact with your code. Because every time I run an application, because I'm going to your application, you can make an impact, but with only a tiny change. And that we are going to create. An example is that you can monitor your application with Website Carbon. And if you go there, you can check websites, for example. And I also did it with Fox Days Amsterdam. And in the beginning it was it's having a result F. That's pretty bad. But then we checked it and we improved it already by reducing image size, caching, and that kind of things. So we have C. We can do much better, of course. An A would be better to implement more caching. But this is a way to check your front end or your website if it's sustainable or not. Do you have a data center that's sustainable and that kind of things? So it can help you or help your website. So tip number 1. And it can also be bad. And then you have mostly not compress your image sizes. That's mostly the things, Angular packages that are big and that kind of things. And then you have something, you need to do something about that. If you also look to NPM packages, you can install the whole world with it. Think about what you're installing. Also for backend engineers. Who's a front-end engineer here? Full stack? Still? Backend? So it's a little bit mixed, nice, nice. So it's also with Maven. If you install every dependency, then yeah, that's not good, of course. You need to delete your dependencies if you're not using it. The same with npm. We're going to CO2.js. We are going to create an application together that monitors your application. And CO2.js is they have a model that you can use. So, for example, you can measure your bytes to CO2 emissions. So, if you have an input of bytes, it will transform it into or from bytes to CO2. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. Yeah, it's calculate amount of grams of CO2 with the JavaScript library. You have certain methods per byte, per visit, per page. And it's from the Green Web Foundation. You have two models. So they think of two models here. You can check only the calls to your backend system, and that's it. That's the 1 byte model, but you can also go further. So from deploying to your application and for running them in the cloud, your application. So that's the whole the SWD model, and that's the whole chain. So you monitor everything. So what they do is check the data center. So they monitor their data center and calculates it per byte, and then they do the translation to CO2 emissions. And yeah, this model is not perfect, of course, but it's a model. We start something and somewhere. What I said, it's only checking the data center users, network transfer, and yeah, sustainable web design model allocates more than only the data center. It's also checking the end users and the production stage. We are going to create an application in React, Next.js, and Mountain for the components. We have some nice components to show you that it can also be fun. TypeScript is also a good choice. Studies showed us that TypeScript is a good sustainable language, of course, and yeah, we're going to use that also. And we're going to use it with Mountain. It's a component library within we can use. So we're going to measure in our application the average of the Netherlands. You can, for example, or Belgium or Poland, we can show. We can check if our host is green or not. We are going to check per visit what it can do. We are going to compare with cars. So can I drive to Paris, for example, or to the end of the world if I do certain actions like images? And we're doing that square 10,000 views. Images, videos, that's very important. We need to compress them. So yeah, let's go to the demo. First, we are going to create a next application, npx create next app, and we are going to use TypeScript, and the name is Devox Belgium, of Devox BE. Yeah, it's asking some questions. Do you want to use ESLint, Tailwind, source directory, app router, import aliases, and that kind of things? And then it's creating an application view from the scratch we are going to use with React. On this moment, we are created the application. So I'm going to Devox BE, and then I'm going to install with npm. I'm going to install some dependencies, and one of them is the CO2 library. With this command, the Green Web Foundation CO2, and with some TypeScript types. So I click on npm or enter, and now we have installed the dependencies we need to use. We're also going to use other dependencies like Mountain. I'm also showing. We'll put this also on GitHub that you can read it later on. It's some Mountain that it shows the components nicely and that kind of things. And we are going to use Axios for calls to our backend system. And that's it. And that's it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm using IntelliJ, and we're going to open. So check. We're going to open. You can see it good, right? Yeah. Nice on such a screen. So yeah, we are going to show the average, but before I'm doing that, we are going to create a dashboard. And on the dashboard, I want certain things. So I want to have the average, I want to show and that kind of things. So I'm creating a directory called dashboard. I'm going to create a directory where I put in all the styles. And the globals, I'm going to put it there. The globals, we have a page, this we don't need. Some delete anyway. Yeah, what this does, Next.js already create an application. So I'm using that artifact kind of, or the archetype that I can just use instead of create it myself. I don't use all the things I don't need to. So we are going to create an average.tsx. And in this one, we are going to use a library and check the average of the Netherlands, the CO2 emissions. I'm using live templating. It's pretty nice. And yeah, we're going to use this one. I'm using some styles I want to use. I'm putting it here. Some C stuff. Oh, this is a directory, that's not good. Delete. I want a file. And the file is on CSS check. This one is some CSS stuff and average. The page. So in here I'm using Mentine and I'm asking to put in this div this average component I'm now creating. And the layout, also some layout things. And that's just some stuff to route it. So we're creating the average. The next step is then from, hey, we want to have the average intensity. By the way, I'm using Copilot. It's sustainability. It's a question most, but I think you need to get the best of both worlds, I think. Because AI is going to be there for a long time, I think. And yeah, we need to adapt kind of things and we need to try to adapt there. But yeah, so I'm just using the live template and here you can see like from the CO2 library, I'm using the average intensity and I see it for the Netherlands, but you can also do it for other languages like Belgium. And then you can say like, hey, Belgium here. And what I'm going to do now is just start. npm So at this moment we created our first component. You see here the average of Belgium this time, this case. And they are some better. So if I go to the Netherlands, for example, it's some more. So in Belgium, they are pretty sustainable, it looks like. So that's pretty cool. There's also a nice other website you can follow. That's the live emissions. And you can also see like, hey, Belgium is doing pretty good. And the Netherlands is yellow. France is even better. All the sustainability talks, by the way, are coming from France nowadays. And Poland, that's it's a little bit behind. So because of the COAL and that kind of things. So that's a nice thing to see how sustainable countries are. Next thing is what we are going to create is the host. So we want to know if our host, this time localhost, is green or not. So we are going to create host. And then host. Oh, I'm forgetting the host. Shift F6. .tsx. tsx check. And it's there now. So this also here, I have some divs and some logic, of course, you can see. But the most important is I have an async function. And what you can do here is check if your host is green. So hosting check. So you have a hosting. Now, if you go upstairs, like here in hosting, where is it? It's in the import. You have the hosting within the CO2 library, where you can look if you can check if the host is green. So the domain is you can put it in. We can do google.nl or something, and then you can check if it's green or not. Is it already showing? No, because we don't put it here, because we also need to say, hey, add this component and host and here. So it should be going there. Yeah, so you can now see google.nl is green, so that's true. So it's checking if the host is green. In this case, Google is green. So a localhost is false, because localhost, we don't know. So you can also have a false there, and then you need to know, hey, I need to do something, maybe something about that. The next one is, I'm going to call the backend because I want to monitor, for example, the image size. So I have a server.js. I'm using Node here. That's another example. And I'm going to use a server.js there. Server.js. And server.js I have here. Again, it's listening and it's monitoring our application on if it's the file size, and then makes a calculation for us. Check, and then I'm going to do a file. What was it? Server per visit. Per visit.tsx, and here per visit. So here we are going to use the model. What this is doing is just doing a call to our Node.js server, and it's giving some file size back. And that file size we're going to transform that to CO2 emissions. And that I want to show. So we have an SWD model, and that's this one. And with this model, we can have the whole chain, what the emission is. Again, this is a model, this is something. So we can monitor if we are going good here. That's the stats file size. So we are going to Node server.js. Oh, already in use. Interesting. Oh, we have it here. I'll do it again. Live coding, always fun. So it's here now, and we have the same, only with running with Node now. I need to edit, I'm always forgetting it, to the page, the component here, and then we add per visit. Check, and then it's automatically being shown. So at this moment, we see what our application is producing, our website. So on the right side, you see 0.86 grams of CO2 per kilowatt hour. And that's our emissions. But you can already imagine, what if we do this square 10,000 times? So we can also do that, more about that later. The next one is the comparison. We want to also do a comparison with cars. So how much can I drive with my website? That's pretty nice. Comparison.tsx. Comparison, yep. And I need to also edit here the component. Comparison, and then check. And it's automatically being... So here you can see, like, hey, oh, it's not seeing so... Oh, wait, it's a CSS thingy. Globals, CSS, who don't love it, right? Globals, so despawn, and then you also see it normally. So what you here see, with our site, we can drive 0 kilometers at the moment with a Toyota Yaris. But if we are going to make a change, for example, add an image, and then you see, like, hey, we can drive a lot of kilometers if we don't compress it. And I'm now doing it square 10,000 times. So stats file says times 10,000 times. And then you can see like, hey, we can already drive. So on 10,000 visits, this website, we can drive like 200 kilometers to somewhere, to Paris, something, I think. And yeah, if we add an image, then it will be worse even. So we are going to, I will going to show you that. File, compression.tsx. And we also are going to edit here. And I need some images. I just copy paste it from there. Okay. And then we have it like this. I think I need to restart. Check if it's working. And I need to edit here. Because we compression check. Wait a little moment. It's compiling still. So here you can see an image. This image is 20 megabyte. So we can see already like, hey, I can already drive 498 kilometers. Is it the PNG even? But you can imagine if you have it multiple times, then you can drive like, can already like refresh like what with 1500 kilometers. So I can already drive to Spain somewhere. So here I want to show you like the comparison. If I add an image like this, and it's like 20 megabytes, and we use it in our code or somewhere in a front end, and we don't compress it, what the impact then is. So the impact on this is like we can already like drive like hundreds of kilometers, and if you only compress it, then you don't have that. So if we change this to like JPEG, it can be of course much better. Like this one. Check, and then here. I need to restart, otherwise it's... Then you will see that it's already much better. It needs to wait, of course, and let's refresh just. And now you can see like, hey, I can only drive 92 kilometers. So you already see a little impact, but with a lot of users, like with more than millions of users, you can already make a big impact here. But just a tiny change in your code, like in your front end of your code, you can play with it also. So if you are using an Angular package that you can compress it, or others, maybe in your code you can make some improvements, you can do that all. So back to the slideshow, because we have 58 seconds. It's all about the end users, right? What can we do? You can learn a course, the green software. It's free. You can follow it, enroll today. Use Ecosia and choose your data center wisely. Some data centers are greener and some are not, so there's a whole directory of that. There are also some books that you can follow or can read. Building Green Software, Sustainable Software Architecture, and Sustainable Software Development. There are a lot of things you can read and to think more green. Most important key takeaways: choose an eco-friendly architecture. This most decisions that you make is on architecture level, but measure everything. Measure with CO2.js, or there are applications with Kepler, and think of the small enhancement. Thank you very much. Just in time. And if you have some questions, let me know, or walk by, or what you want. Walk by is maybe the best thing. And thank you again, and have a lovely evening.